Tonight we're going to talk about my beautiful parents and what it, did to my life losing them at such a young age. When now, like I call myself a mother and fatherless child. So we're going to talk about that tonight. But I want to, before we get into it, shout out to my co-hosts with the most.
What's going on, y'all? Y'all already know I'm the baby girl. I'm the youngest child, and I'm here with my mother, and we back for another Regina Miller talk show.
I'm doing it, and I'm going to testify, and I'm going to let it be my testimony to the ones who just start living without your parents. I am your testimony. Days get better. You will get better. But the key to it all is put your trust in the Lord. Hold on to God so tight and don't let him go, because I'm telling you, the world doesn't have healing. God gave me healing from missing my parents so badly on earth, because I miss them every day. But that bad missing where you don't want to be here without them. Hold on to God. Now we're going to start with Herbert Miller, my amazing father who fought in the Vietnam War. I'm not going to make this long. I'm going to give you the short version tonight. My father was the most amazing father that a girl could have. And my father died when I was 24. He taught me everything I knew before he died. And I always wondered why my dad, even though I was a daddy's girl, he always piled stuff on me up here in my brain. And I always tried to get all I can get from his brain. And I was such a daddy's girl that whatever his car cranked up, I got in it. And he would tell me, look, you going with me all the time? Now, what I'm doing out here in these streets, I don't want to hear nothing when I get back in this house. Right. He said, that's how cool me and my dad was. I just wanted to go. He would go to his friend's house with children, and he would take me and my sisters. And boy, we had a ball. So my dad was that kind of dad. He was the kind of grandfather that would get the code to the daycare. He picked my children up from the daycare. I mean, he was that kind of father. He was a real man. And when I lost him at such a young age, it really did something to me. Thank God I had my mother. I believe that my mother being alive still was my fall. I fell to her. So whatever I was missing from my father, it went to my mom. My mom carried me, right?
Right.
It was hard. It was so hard. And that's why I fell to other older men to try to get that love. Not saying I wanted fatherly love, because I only had one father, and I made that clear. But I was always, the older guy just, they're so loving, So, I dated the older men and, different things like that. And so I just want women to know that dating and trying to get rid of pain don't work. Nothing works but your own self-healing, okay? So my mom died. I'm going to jump because I'm not going to, I'm going to make it a short version. So my mom died, right? And so when my mother died, now mind you, I didn't say I was depressed after my father died because my mother carried me, right? That's when it hit me. That's when I said, what am I going to do? My back is against the wall. I got children. God, you gave me a granddaughter. They ain't got nobody but me as a parent. Lord, what I'm going to do? Because my parents held me down. You understand what I'm saying?
You had a very close, you had a very good relationship with your parents. And
absolutely.
You also had siblings. You had two sisters and a brother. But yes, like you had mentioned in other stories, you were one of the two children that got to be in the household with your mother and your father a lot. Because as you mentioned, your father was in the Vietnam War, and your oldest two sisters, they got to experienced that dad being away, but you actually had a 2-parent household for a long time. So to have your father pass, you were able to mourn with your mother. But then when your mother passed, do you feel like you mourned both of your parents at that same time because you realize I don't have anyone? I'm looking around and I no longer have that person that I call every single day.
I'm glad you kind of like helped me with my emotions right there, because that's what I was trying to say, but I couldn't get it out. That's exactly what happened. And I went into depression in 2019. And I hid it from the world. I hid it from you and your sister and your niece. I hid it from everybody except myself. And every day, your sister would get up in Victoria. I would get up with them. Those are the mornings I would get up with them, and see them to the door, talking to Victoria all the way, trying to put some motivation in her mind for the morning, right? So soon as the car pulled off, the tears started rolling down. The tears, I'm talking about I wailed for 12 months. When I knew they was coming back home, I got myself together. I put my hair on, my makeup, my lipstick and whatever. I get fly when I get fly. And, I was getting fly in the house. Y'all just thought it was normal because that's what I do. I walk around the house with whatever. I say, I'm just glad to be allowed to put clothes on, So y'all didn't really know the changes because I kind of kept the flow so y'all wouldn't get off course.
And that's what happens when we step into these states of depression. The most strongest people, the world would never know that they are going through things because we are so strong for a lot of people.
Right.
And then when we come into these situations as such, it's like, I'm tired of being strong for everyone else. I need this time to myself. Yes, I'm still going to be, strong for my daughters and my granddaughter, but I know I commended you recently, and I always tell you, thank you for being strong for you, because it's not easy being strong for others all the time. And then you have to look yourself in the mirror and say, I made it through that, because I've gone through depression for 2 years, and no one ever, well, you knew and stuff like that, but I
prayed you through it, honey, because I recognize what it looked like. I recognize what it sound like. I now know what it looks like. I know because I'm a depression survivor. That's just like a woman getting her head slapped off. I can kind of like tell, what's going on when I see an uncomfortable couple, because I somebody tried to slap me one time. You feel what I'm saying? So once you in those situations, you recognize.
It's recognizable.
And see, you strong like your mama. So I saw you still being strong. You still got up. You still with the work. You never folded on you.
Right.
And that's why I do what I do, because I'm a role model mother. That's why I do what I do. And I'm very careful, even though sometimes I'm harder on myself doing that, but it's okay, because if my girls turn out, pleasing to God, then I did my job. And that's what mothers need to understand. I love being a mother. Like I'm a mother. Choice I made was to live, because I could have died in depression. I'm telling you, it's that easy to die in depression. And I said to God, God, if you teach me how to live without my parents, I'll stay here and do your work. And I'll never go back to the old person I was. Never. I'll just let it be my testimony, is what I said to God. He delivered me. every day after that prayer to him. And I'm here. I'm a testimony. I'm here, sisters and brothers. God can heal you from losing the most amazing thing that the people that brought you into the earth for God. He'll show you how to live without him. And then he'll bless your life. So my life has never been the same since depression. I am rolling. You know, me and God, we building something. We outside, you know. He let me back outside and it's a wrap.